Hello everyone and welcome to this week's reviews. Today I'll be talking about a pair of streaming movies released this week that you can watch at home. First is the return of Kurt Russell's version of Santa Claus as he finds himself dealing with a new problem over the holidays. Now streaming on Netflix, this is The Christmas Chronicles Part 2. I enjoyed the first movie as a funny and clever take on the Santa legend, and it felt like something that might have aired on The Wonderful World of Disney back in the day. It played with the audience's knowledge of Santa to create a fun holiday escapade. Curiously, the sequel goes heavy on the exposition to explain Santa's village at the North Pole and everything surrounding it, and that does mean Part 2 takes a little while to get going. The villain even does a thing where he talks to the audience and explains his evil plot, which I found very unusual and largely unneeded. This made the first half kind of slow, although we still have Russell as Santa, and I think his take is one of the best screen Kris Kringles. We also have Goldie Hawn as Mrs. Claus, and she is similarly wonderful. They're portrayed as a loving and supportive couple, although she's also not afraid to call out Santa for his occasional behavior. Chris Columbus directed this movie, and something that surprised me is how flat a lot of it looked. However, once it reaches the second half, Columbus finds his groove, and there's a particularly fun sequence in an airport. And even though I was indifferent to the movie and lead protagonist Kate's predicaments through most of the runtime, there is a moment later in the movie I found genuinely touching. It's a reminder of what makes Columbus a director I admire. His filmography may have its ups and downs, but more often than not he finds a way to tug at the heartstrings. The climax also ups the fun factor. Overall, while I don't think Christmas Chronicles 2 is quite the freshness of the first movie, it's a diverting enough experience. Next up is a new take on a classic story streaming on Disney Plus this week, Black Beauty. I'm just going to get this out of the way. I don't find horses very interesting. Unlike a lot of animals, they're not the most expressive creatures, and that means any movie about them has a lot to overcome. There are definitely horse movies I like. Warhorse, The Black Stallion, and Seabiscuit are all films I greatly enjoyed. So that does not mean I'm automatically going to hate a movie about horses. With that said, Black Beauty did not do a whole lot for me. This is a movie without any subtlety whatsoever, as the dialogue telegraphs and reveals so much to the audience. Kate Winslet provides a narration for the horse, and tells us everything that goes through her head. The main character, Jo, is not any better, although Mackenzie Foy does give a decent performance. She starts off as a brat early on in the movie, so it does take a long while to warm up to her. Then the film surrounds her with the most broad personalities imaginable. We get these stereotypical mean girls who hate her despite the fact they barely interact with her. The reasons we're sort of given through snide expositional dialogue are because she's new in town and lives on a farm. Because, as we all know, nobody lives on farms. Then there is this snooty rich family that leases Beauty at one point. Claire Filani plays the mother, and this character is so over the top in her snootiness, I was surprised not to see a scene where she called for an orphanage to be shut down. The film does attempt a message about the cruelty inflicted on horses in some stables, but it's not touched upon too much before Beauty is whisked away to one owner after another. What most frustrated me about this movie is how boring it was. I will admit this can be chalked up to me finding horses themselves boring. So if you like horses, Black Beauty might appeal to you a lot more. I just had a hard time getting invested in this film. Anyway, check out The Christmas Chronicles Part 2 on Netflix and Black Beauty on Disney Plus, and let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for watching this week's reviews, and I'll see you next time.